This is nothing but that sports talk.
Yeah, the World Series is on. Phillies versus Astros. Welcome to this episode, nothing but that sports talk. Rafique Louison, Jaquam, Ryan Walker, and how's everybody doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Good.
Happy to be here. Doing good.
Yeah, now
Exactly, for real.
to get started with the World Series, Ryan, I want to get your impressions on everything that happened in the MLB playoffs. Well, this the Astros. Only this time it's against the Philadelphia Phillies, a team that you predicted early this month they were going to get taken up by the Cardinals, and they have a chance to win another one. So thoughts?
I mean, I hope Kwame ready to talk all type of sports, Kwame. This ain't the same thing basketball today, Kwame.
Of course.
This is a different kind of show today, you heard?
Yo, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. I know Kwame ready. I'm just getting her ready. Yeah, no, you know what, listen, even with all the predictions that I did make, you know what I mean, and this is all we ever do is make predictions based off our smartest analysis, and even that could go wrong at times. The one thing I did say on that show too is that postseason baseball is not like any other sport. Postseason baseball is a different kind of beast compared to the NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs or those type of sorts. You see, anytime you're dealing with like the NFL football playoffs where it's one and done, or March Madness where it's one and done, or you dealing with the realms like the MLB playoffs where can dictate your postseason destiny. Anything can happen with pitchers and everything on the mountain. This is postseason baseball. And one thing that I did say in that same show too is that in postseason baseball, a lot of times guys that are regular names or no names are the guys that end up getting hits or making big plays in postseason, because now when it becomes matriculated down to paying attention to your star, whether it be a star hitter or so on and so forth, pitchers take more attention to that. Guys, more guys. It's all about situations. Nevertheless, the Phillies deserve to be there. We spoke to Young on the show. He said, hey, the Phillies still do have a chance because postseason, anything can happen when you get hot with the right amount of guys and pitching and so on and so forth. The Phillies deserve to get there. The Astros were the better team in the American League. When it comes down to whether we were Yankees fans or not, I'm a Yankees fan. I wanted the Yankees to. Reality still was the Astros were better, but I think in the real hindsight behind closed doors, we all as New Yorkers knew that the Houston Astros were the better team than the New York Yankees. They just didn't expect to get swept by the Houston Astros, but guess what? They swept a lot of teams this year. You know what I mean? And they pretty much owned the Yankees for the last 4 or 5 years. So it is what it is until they figure out to get past that hump. The Yankees probably will be a divisional wild-card winner for years until they can figure out how to beat that team in Houston. So postseason baseball is a different kind of beast. The two teams that are there deserve to be there. And if it makes sense, the Astros should win. But the Phillies are hot right now. They got a lot of good hitting. They got a lot of good pitching. Anything can happen.
Let's not forget the Phillies. They got two pitchers from the 2015 New York Mets, Zach Wheeler and Noah Syndergaard. Two guys that are capable of that really pitch. You got Kyle Schwarber, Chicago Cubs. You still had Bryce Harper that you gave that huge contract to about a few years ago, and it took a little while to get it back. Well, they're relevant now because they're in the World Series going up against one of the best winningest franchises, at least for the past 5 or 6 years. So the way the Phillies were able to put it together and manage to get this far ahead of schedule, that's saying something, right?
They've been good.
Yeah, everything's
the fact that in the league there was more upsets with the Phillies beating the Cardinals, and the Mets lost early to the Padres. The Padres went on and the Dodgers lost. Everything just got reshuffled. And it's baseball. It's so unpredictable in the postseason. Sometimes when you win the World Series, it's really by just that time of the year, certain players, and a lot of luck, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And to end the baseball conversation, like, what are your predictions overall? Who do you think will come on top? And how many games will it take?
I ain't picking no more. I'm just gonna watch and see. I don't know nothing about after all the picks I made. I don't know who the hell win baseball anymore. We'll talk about it when the show ends. I don't know anymore. It's so unpredictable. Really got two good teams going in. It's just so hard to pick the World Series. I'm done. I ain't not taking no more picks for the World Series.
Okay, and that's fine. But you want to know what else is unpredictable? Your New York Giants, instead of 7-10, they're about to have a chance to be 7-1. Thoughts?
Well, so the Big Lou's I can't believe they this good. I really can't believe that they're this good at all. It's scary. They're way ahead of time. All the New York football teams are doing good. Buffalo looks like a Super Bowl contender, if not the Super Bowl winner, possibly. But maybe it will be their first time in their history. The Giants are playing really good football right now, 6-1. Finding a way to get through. Maybe they get to the bye week and be 7-1. And the New York Jets are playing good football too. They're 5-2, and they're finding a way to piece things together and win too. So this is crazy. I can't believe it. We'll probably never see this again. It's the first week in history that all three New York football teams is in the top 10 in the power rankings. We'll probably never say it again.
Never say it again whatsoever. And the fact that
that's scary.
Not to mention, even though the Giants have yet to win a game by more than a single possession, the way they win those games was incredible. They're not just relying on one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They're relying on strong special teams, good defense. Saquon Barkley is back to being Saquon Barkley of old. And even though they don't have a number one receiver, they find ways to get touchdowns in the passing game.
Barely, but they do it. So, the Giants are playing good, Jets playing good, Buffalo playing good, thank God. They all playing well. And the Giants got Seattle this week. Who the Jets got?
They got the Patriots.
Ooh, and see, they gonna be upset because Patriots put 50-something on them last year.
Yeah, those interceptions, those are dark times. Don't remind me about that. But you can remind me about that, but don't remind me.
Listen to me. The Jets ready to kick some ASS. They running that film all week, so I know they're gonna be really pissed off when they play this Sunday. And this is not the same Jets from last year. They better be careful. They might try to kill everybody.
Yeah. Jaquam, what are your thoughts on the way the Jets and Giants have played to begin the year?
Very, very surprising. I could safely say that right now New York is a football town. It's somewhat of a basketball town. Shout out to the Knicks. But it's strongly a football town these past couple of weeks with their performances. I think that for the Giants, haven't really seen them dominate in the game yet. Like, their wins have been very close, but that basically shows what they can do in crunch time and how they perform when the game is on the line. So, winning those close games could help them in the postseason, but could also hurt them if they clean up when it comes to certain things. So, in some of the games I saw, one of the most impressive wins was the win against Baltimore. That big comeback win for them. But, they got to dominate the game for once. I think some people will want to see them dominate more. But, I mean, as long as they're winning, they're up. They're in the NFC Beast, not the NFC Least anymore. So, they're up there. Can't wait till they go up against Philadelphia. And they also can't wait till they get payback against the Cowboys and stuff. As for the Jets, I mean, the Jets have been a lot more of the laughingstock of the NFL all these years. Even when the Giants were actually a more competent team and they were winning and stuff. And I think that seeing the Jets succeed right now. You know, seeing Zach Wilson do his thing. If I'm not mistaken, that's his name. Him kill and just seeing that team. Their impressive win against the Packers was amazing. That blowout win against the Packers.
I think they were going to get that.
I was so shocked. I'm like, what? Oh, these Jets are for real. So, it's good to see that New York is a strong football town again. And I mean, call me crazy, man, but I would love to see a Subway Series or NJ Transit Series Super Bowl, even though the chances of that, are not too high. But I would love to see that. I hope both of these teams keep it up, in my opinion.
Well, that will only happen if the Giants can win the division. Both the teams that lead in their respective divisions are the number one in both their respective conference. So if the Jets can surpass the Buffalo Bills and the Giants can surpass the Eagles, that possibility will increase on this episode. I promise you.
Right. Yeah, because that's who we got to worry about right now: the Eagles and the NFC, as well as the Bills, the Chiefs as well. The Chiefs is another team that we have to worry about down the line.
Let's slow down, guys, a little bit. Let's slow down. The Giants are. I like my Giants. The Giants are good. They're solid right now, but we ahead of schedule. They're not supposed to be this good this fast. Remember, they had a new general manager. They had a new head coach. He's going to be the coach of the year. Brian Daboll is the coach of the year. Even if the Giants lose the next 100 games straight, he's the coach of the year. We got a new coach, new defensive coordinator. Remember, the defensive coordinator is the guy from the Baltimore Ravens. Morandale, that's the guy from the Baltimore Ravens that came over to the defense. That no matter what, when guys are injured, because we've had a lot of guys injured too. We got a lot of guys that we injured and still other guys plugged in and did well. Now, this is what I will say about the Giants. They're in the hunt. We do not have more talent than the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't fool yourself. Trust me when I tell you. That doesn't mean they can't win. They beat them in 5 because they only play the Eagles at the end of the year. You know what I mean? But the Eagles are the most talented team in NFC East.
Right.
The Cowboys are right after that. The Cowboys actually are the most talented team, but they don't necessarily play to the most talented team. Remember, Dak Prescott just came back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
I didn't say the Giants were more talented than them.
So we already have to. No, 100. We all know this. We're the third most talented team in that division. Washington is the worst. Our biggest thing. That's why you think the trade with Tony was so big.
Yeah, I heard about
they're getting draft picks for next year. So now with all these guys, Joe Shane and Judge, the guys are going to keep it coming with, but there's going to be guys that they bring in there and they start their regime. Everything with Dave Gettleman is gone. So the Giants are good, but they're ahead of schedule. So I don't even think we should think about Super Bowl right now because I don't think that's a realistic goal. That's not saying it can't happen. You 6-1, the record speaks for itself. You know what I mean? But they're a team that if we win 11 games and we go in the playoffs and win 1 and lose, that's a good season. If we win 11 games and we went to the playoffs and we lost the first game, that's a good season. If we won 11 games and didn't go to the playoffs, to me, that's a good season. We've been terrible the last 6 years. Terrible. And the same thing with the Jets perspective, where they haven't been good the last few years, but now they're starting to build something different with Robert Saleh, the coach, with a different defensive coordinator, with everything, a different staff. So it takes a little bit of time to get to that top. So for us to even see each other on both sides, whoa, that's something that probably, if it happens, God bless, the city's on fire. But there's a lot of teams. Kansas City is in the NFC.
That's why I mentioned
Buffalo is in the NFC. There's a lot of good teams. And if you look at the NFC, we're good, but the Cowboys already beat us 1 game. Now we have to go play them on Thanksgiving Day. We play the Eagles 2 times the rest of the season. That's why the Giants have to win this week. If you win this week, and then you have a bye, and then you can come home to Houston, and then the Lions.
Actually, it's the Lions.
When you go to, the Lions is on December. Well, the Lions is on what? November 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And then so
Wait, hold on.
We
Yeah,
got Seattle.
the Lions are the yeah. You're right. We got after that
Yes, I know
Seattle,
that. I'm going to the game on the 20th.
Houston, Detroit, Dallas.
Then they got Philly twice from down there, and the Commanders down there too. And they also got to play the Colts.
Mm-hmm. And the Vikings.
So they don't got the Vikings this year.
Yeah, they do. They play the Vikings and they play the Vikings on the 24th, like the day before Christmas.
Is that the Vikings they play?
Yeah, on the road.
Wow. That's gonna be a tough one. But they're gonna you see how the schedule pans out. But it, like y'all said in general, it's like we all said, it's good to see New York football doing something. And they clowning on Brooklyn right now. I don't know what's going on in basketball, but I said Jesus Christ, it's good to be a Knicks fan right now. God bless.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to basketball later a bit, but to continue the conversation with the New York Giants, on one hand, you're right. They played ahead of schedule. The same way they play ahead of schedule during the days of Eli Manning when you won those 2 Super Bowls against Tom Brady's Patriots.
Yes.
In 2011. I'll give you 2 on that one. But if you got a chance to win a championship or have a deep run at a championship, just go for it. Because it may not be this good for a while after this year. They may not.
The best team in New York that has a chance to win the Super Bowl, remember I told you this, is the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
But that's only if they don't allow the Jets to pass them in the standings, because the Patriots are not much of a threat anymore. The Dolphins are not much of a threat anymore. They
cut it out.
They might surpass. They can just, if they beat Buffalo at that nice stadium, they can surpass them in the standings. I'm telling you.
If Josh Allen is healthy for all 17 games, the Jets are not winning the division.
You forgot Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. Those guys.
I didn't even go there.
Those guys are tough.
I get it. Trust me, I do. But
Josh Allen is one of the best football players in the league, bro. He's one of the best quarterbacks. He's one of
come on, Josh Allen,
MVP dude, bro.
And they literally just got their revenge on the Kansas City Chiefs not too many weeks ago. I get it. A year ago, I would have agreed to 100% because both teams were 4-13, combined 8 and 26. But right now, they're both relevant, at least for the first half. So,
all right, let me ask you a question. Are the Giants better than the Cowboys or the Eagles right now?
Well, they're not better than the Eagles from a record standpoint. I mean, but that's the main thing to see because we haven't played the Eagles yet. But the Cowboys, well, for the moment, we have a better record, but they the 1-6-1. So,
I mean, we have a better record than the Cowboys, but the Cowboys beat us without Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm. In rush,
right?
trust.
Right, and we haven't played Philly yet, and Philly's been kicking everybody. Same thing with like the Jets. It's like, all right, the Jets are good, but are the Jets better than Buffalo and Miami?
We smoked Miami a couple weeks ago, so we're definitely better than Miami without question. Buffalo.
Yeah, they beat Miami. No. They beat Miami 2 weeks ago without Tua.
Good points.
That's all I will say. So with Tua, that's a whole different story. Now, you're right. So with that, so the Jets did beat them just like without Tua. Now, are they better than Buffalo?
That answer is going to be questioned within the next couple of weeks. I mean, a year ago, I would have said yes. But right now, okay, Buffalo's better than the Jets. Happy, I said it.
Yeah, that's like, all right, I'm a Knicks fan. Who's better, the Bucks or the Knicks?
The Bucks, without question.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you don't got to like it to pick what you pick. Listen, I wish the Jets only through. I know they're not better than Buffalo. I know that for a fact. If the quarterback tears ACL tomorrow, God forbid, all bets are off. But as long as Josh Allen, that's like Kansas City. If Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes, they have a chance. The same thing, even though with the Packers stink this year, right? But even with Aaron Rodgers, you have a chance. It's not, you can't say that with every quarterback. Some quarterbacks have to, the system, the offense, the coordinators have to work a certain way to make sure everything works a certain way. Great quarterbacks make their team good regardless. And over time, you see it in the NFL. The better teams either have a great quarterback or get great quarterback play. It don't work any other way, even with a good defense.
Yeah, that's the actual fact. I mean, to be fair, all the games were close, so it's not like it's like they beat them in a rough shot, like Jaquam just said. I mean, but only time will tell how long this luck is going to last. I mean, it has the potential to run out. So,
correct.
Yeah. All right, on to some basketball talk. Jaquan, I saw you were at the Big East Media Day. Like, when you were talking to the players, and as far as the expectations towards the upcoming college basketball season, like, what can you tell me from from your perspective, like how motivated they were towards this college basketball season coming up?
Well, I got to speak to a few players. I got to speak to Montez Mathis from St. John's. Posh was being interviewed by a lot of people. Also, I think a lot of people, he had interviews everywhere. So, a lot of attention was him. I was trying to get him. Montez Mathis from St. John's. Seton Hall's Jameer Harris and Tyree Samuel. And from the St. John's women, I interviewed the St. John's women for the first time. Raven Peoples, Kadeja Bailey, and Mimi Reed, who's from the Bronx and who's finishing out her career at St. John's, getting her doctorate as a grad transfer. So I could tell you that for St. John's, this is a very, very important year for them. Tournament or bust. Tournament or bust, because you know how it is, like just like last year, there was a lot of hype in them going to the tournament. They were supposed to be a tournament team last year with Julian Champagny, who's now with the Sixers, was killing, and they fell short of that goal. Very fell short of that goal because during the season there was some big things that they needed to fix, like inside scoring a little bit, shooting. The offense was bad sometimes, but I think this is a much more improved, more deep team. Big year coming up for Joel Sariano, who was there. Of course, Montez Mathis, who's is in his second grad year from Rutgers. Posh, big leap. They're going to be doing well. They have a lot more depth this year. There's going to be some other players that weren't there that you're going to be hearing about, like Omar Stanley, Raphael Pinzone, a whole lot. So there's going to be a whole lot of players you're going to hear about. Freshman AJ Storr with the St. John's Red Storm. So they really got a better chance of making the tournament. Their schedule doesn't do much favors for them at the point. I mean, it's a better schedule than last year. A better schedule for last year, especially with non-conference. But they really need to they was picked to finish sixth. I would say if they can finish the season within the top 5 or at sixth with like a better record, a better non-conference winning percentage, I really think I like the St. John's team's chances of going to the tournament. Can't forget Andre Curbelo, who transferred from Illinois, who's on that team. Johnny's looked good in their exhibition win against Adelphi, beat them by like pretty much 30 plus in that game, well balanced. But I really think with the depth that St. John's has this year, there's going to be less issues with their offense and how they play going forward. This is a team that grew up a lot. Seton Hall, very intrigued with Seton Hall. Recently Sean talked about, that there's a lot of injuries, but once they fully healthy, I think one thing that's going to really surprise people is their front court depth. You look at what they have right now with the Pirates. They have front court players that can do just about everything. You got Alexis Yetna, who's a good rebounder, along with Casey Nadefo, who's a good rebounder, also a good shot blocker. You have guys like Tyree Samuel and Trey Jackson, who are stretch forwards in a way they can shoot from outside. in their front court. That's one thing they don't talk about. There's a lot of talk about Cooks, Kadari Richmond, who's going to have a big year on the Shaheen Holloway, on the transfer Samuel Odukale, the Davis brothers. Look out for them on Seton Hall. They're going to be huge for them. All these new pieces that's coming for the Pirates. They're another team with some depth. And under the first year of Shaheen Holloway, I think they set the expectations low for Seton Hall because there's so many new pieces and stuff. But I really think they can finish higher than what they were picking preseason. St. John's Women, of course, I'm hoping that they can take the leap and actually find some postseason success. But I really like the energy going into this college basketball season in the Big East and across the country for sure. I mean, hearing about the Manhattan situation was very unfortunate, but with every ending, there was a new beginning. Shout out to Rashawn Stores, the Soundview native, who played at All Hallows, who's now the interim head coach. I'm guessing, he could prove a lot of people wrong this year and at least have a very decent season. There's going to be a lot of players leaving, a lot of key players leaving, but at least hopefully there's a next man up with those who remain and they could actually help the Jaspers compete in the MAC. But there's a lot. I could go on for days with the college basketball season because I've been looking at other leagues too outside of the Big East. Atlantic 10, big year coming up for Dayton. Maybe some growth coming up with the Fordham basketball team. As far as like non-New York teams, look out for Villanova under Kyle Neptune. That's going to be a team to actually look at. They got a lot. Their core coming back. They got fresh preseason freshman of the year, Cam Whitmore, who's a killer. But yeah, I can go on for days, man. If you want me to go on for days, but I know there's other segments to this, but there's a lot of positive, a lot of good vibes around this college basketball season. This is really a big year for the local teams as well as some teams nationally.
That's a very good point, especially after. I mean, for the local teams, they're gonna come out hungry. Especially right. Seton Hall, they picked up the kids from that miracle tournament run by St. Peter's last year. They picked them up, including Shane Holloway, who was the coach for that roster. The fact that you put that along with the kids at Seton Hall, they're gonna be one of the teams that St. John's got to watch out for. And St. John's, obviously. I'm looking at this as I'm looking at the schedule. Well, I mean, they're gonna. That's a true test for them. Some other notable matchups that St. John's had to deal with. Well, obviously they had to face Florida State for the ACC. You have Iowa State, and of course my LIU Sharks, my alma mater. I mean, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to, if I'm gonna have to go all the way to Queens to watch them. Jeez, sadly, yeah. But. LIU has. I remember LIU won at the buzzer against St. John's. And I believe it was Joel Hernandez.
Right.
Yes, but yeah, LIU. We ain't worried about no St. John's. I mean, I get where you come from, Jaquam. I shouldn't sleep on them too much. You know what? I shouldn't say that because based on what you told me, St. John's should have a much better year with the return to the NCAA tournament. I believe it would be like they haven't been to the tournament in like 4 or 5 years, something like that.
So I think this will be their 4th year. If they return, it will be 4 years because they was there 2019, I believe, with Shamari's last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that was the year they lost in the first round, I believe.
So Arizona State, yes.
Yeah, Arizona State, yeah. Brian, what are your thoughts on everything Jaquam described as far as his coverage to the Big East?
College basketball is phenomenal. I'm a Duke fan, but I love every New York team in the Metropolitan. But listen, you got, like you said, LIU, you got Stony Brook, you got Hofstra. Hofstra's gonna have some good things going on down there with Speedy and Jaquan Carlos, and they got a good little, core they building up down there. But there's so many metropolitan schools, in Jersey, and not you mentioned St. Peter's, that are good. It's gonna be real interesting. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you with St. John's, I think they get, and the tournament is so crazy with qualifying teams, and the Big East is such a dog conference. Like when you're talking about the ACC, the Big East, and the SEC, and the Big Ten and the Big 12 for basketball, you're talking about the powerhouse conference. You know what I mean? And the Big East is so stacked that I don't know what their out of conference schedule is, but for St. John's best bet, out of conference, they better win all their games. And,
Yeah,
and
they
you're
got
looking at it. Every college team,
they got some key games. They got Florida State coming up.
Sorry, I just
Um,
mentioned that. Oh yeah,
yeah,
now
out of conference.
yeah,
They
they have to
got
play
Texas
Merrimack,
Tech.
Lafayette, Central Connecticut. Well, Central Connecticut, they suck.
They got
Nigeria,
they got the Legends Classic
UCharts,
coming up
Iowa
at
State,
Barclays.
New Hampshire, and then Florida State. And they begin conference play against Villanova. And they don't meet Shane Holloway
At the beginning of the year against Villanova.
until literally New Year's Eve. Yeah. They begin Big East
Yeah.
play against Villanova in Pennsylvania. And they don't have to deal with Shane Holloway until the 31st, which is literally New Year's Eve. So
Well, to chime in,
this is what I'm saying.
St. John's has to beat Creighton. Creighton's like the number one team, and they struggled against Creighton these past couple of years. They got to be Providence.
But that's in conference.
In conference. As far as all right, I'm talking about all right. So out of conference, one thing Rafique didn't mention was the Legends Classic, which is coming up next month.
Mhm.
They will be facing Temple.
yeah, I did mention the Temple matchup. So
I didn't hear. So they have to face Temple, and then hopefully beat Syracuse in the chip. Syracuse, I heard in their exhibition game against Indiana University, Pennsylvania, which features St. Ray's graduate Dallas Dillard, who I think did not play. They struggled against Indiana University. So, but still, you got to beat Syracuse, and who knows where Syracuse is when they face each other during the Legends Classic, which is the 21st and the 22nd, I believe, next month in November at Barclays. So that's a big test for them. Of course, Florida State out of the ACC is another big test for them as well.
I think, all right, how many games they got this year in the regular season? 30?
Huh? About 30.
30, right? All right, so how many out of conference do they have?
Out of conference, they have about 10 to 12, but they don't have a lot of strong. They're not going up against like Seton Hall's out of conference schedule stacked. They got Kansas. They got
100%.
a whole ton. Right. But that's a scheduling thing. They have.
This is what I'm saying.
Right. I understand.
They're gonna have to. They have to beat everybody on their out of conference schedule. In that Temple game, they have to win.
Right.
The only way, if they lose to Syracuse, it has to be incredible tough loss. You
right.
feel me?
Yeah,
and
of course.
The only other exceptions after that is Florida State.
Right.
If they play Florida State and they beat Florida State, wow. But if they play Florida State and they lose a close game, that's respectable. If they play Florida State and they get slapped, that's gonna hurt them because now when you play in your conference,
right? But
you're gonna have to win. This is the table that they've been giving St. John's.
Exactly.
I've seen St. John's win 19 and 20 and they've still been on the borderline. So they're gonna have to show out just to and then they're gonna have to get in the Big East tournament and win 2 games.
I understand. I cover every season, so it's like this. Like I think as far as out of conference concerned, they gotta handle before like it's important. They have to beat this. They have to get the signature wins.
Without question,
correct.
The signature wins, but they also gotta handle their business against the teams that they're really not supposed to lose to as well, right?
Correct.
If I feel like I don't see St. John's going undefeated and out of conference at the moment. That could change though. That could definitely change because the season hasn't started yet. And they have an exhibition tomorrow against Southern New Hampshire. So I'm like impressed with their exhibition play. They didn't allow Adelphi to get too comfortable, which is something other teams couldn't do. But for St. John's, I think they can come with a very good record, but also if they get about the signature wins and they win about 10, 11 Big East games, they're in. I don't think I would like to see them win 13 to probably 15. I would like to see them in that upper echelon where they're competing for a Big East regular season title. I would like to see them there. and it's going to be very hard.
21 wins and
However,
2 Big East wins.
I would see them if they could win about somewhere between 10 to 13 Big East games and be within that top 4 or 5, go where they can get a bye and they don't have to play on Wednesday night, they will be safely in the tournament, in my opinion. If they can get a very good non-conference with a signature win or two, 10 to about 13 wins in the Big East, and no losses to like a DePaul or anybody on the bottom of the conference, because it's a tough conference this year. A lot of the teams are much older, not much young teams now. So if they can get within the top 4 and get a double-digit win record in the Big East, that's going to help their chances, because the selection community is going to give them some slack if they can win. If it's going to be a problem if they're like what 9-10 or 8-10, which I highly doubt that's not going to happen. It's going to be about 20 conference games. So I've pretty much see St. John's winning about 10 plus games. They're definitely winning double-digit games in the Big East, without a doubt.
Without question,
it's going to be a lot better. I think this team matured a lot. The exhibition out in the Dominican Republic helped them. And that helped them. It made them gel a lot as a team. There's not going to be a lot of struggles where, like, the team seems out of place this year. There's a lot more veteran leadership. Having an extra ball handler in Andre Curbelo is going to help, along with Pasha Alexander, because it will allow him to clear up the ball more. So I definitely see a much improved season. I like their chances of making the tournament.
Exactly. And I think exactly. And to conclude the conversation with St. John's, well, it's not just about having a winning record. It's about who you beat, how you beat them,
yeah,
in the circumstances in which you beat them in. And that's what makes an NCAA tournament team.
Right. Who you beat does matter. Like, it does matter. They have to be bigger than what they're out of conference schedule. So, but they definitely got more opportunities compared to last season, because last season they didn't have a strong out of conference at all. And with that strong out of conference, they couldn't get the win against Indiana, and losing that game to Pitt. That was rough for them. But I think much improved St. John's team this year. Sky's the limit for them.
Exactly. And to transition a little bit, as we look at the Seton Hall, you already mentioned they got the game against Kansas. I mean, obviously that should be a very tough matchup. And then they have to face St. Peter's on November 12th. Oh, man.
I mean, yeah, that's going to be, a very emotional game.
For Shane Holloway, that's what it means.
Yeah.
In St. Peter, in Seton Hall's head, because obviously the game is going to be at home, but St. Peter's is going to. But this is his former team, a team that he personally coached all the way to the Elite Eight. So, if I'm Shane Holloway, I'll be crying right now. Look at the schedule.
I mean, not exactly. I mean, with this Seton Hall team, they look stronger on paper. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. They're going to finish higher than what they were picked in the preseason. I just had to check back at their schedule. They also are playing Memphis in the ESPN Invitational and Thanksgiving. If they can get to the championship or at least win it, that's going to be huge for them. Because I think after that weekend, they have a strong weekend out there in Orlando. They're probably going to be ranked if the AP voters are generous. They're probably going to be ranked after that. That would be one of many stops for Seton Hall that's going to define their season. They also got Iowa coming to town in the Gavitt tip-off games. They got a lot. It's going to be huge, very huge. Not to mention the Kansas game. Also, they face They're going to be at Rutgers.
Yeah, that's another big one. The battle of teams.
Right. The Rutgers game on December 11th is big because that's the state rivalry game. And I know the selection committee is going to look really big at that one because they're going to be against a Big Ten school. And, Big Ten, one of the highly favored conferences in college basketball. Some think that the Big Ten is better than the Big East, but, if when it comes to the tournament time, I mean, Big Ten team hasn't really won a national championship in a long time. However, they do send many teams to the Final Four. Michigan State multiple times over the past 2 decades. Wisconsin,
Ohio State has had a few
Michigan.
years.
Yup, Ohio State, Michigan, just to name a few. Wisconsin, that made it to the national title game in 2015. So, I definitely think Seton Hall has a lot to prove. I'm just very, very, very when Shaheen was talking about the health, he said he only had 7 players. That was very concerning, but I know that there's many players there knowing the work ethic he's instilled in them and knowing the work ethic of some of those players. Don't be surprised if someone who wasn't supposed to get much playing time steps up to the plate if there's some players that are not healthy at the start of the season, and that's going to help. I think, Shaheen was very confident in his team. Despite that, I think that somebody's going to want to step up and, show up big for the Pirates. I think they'll be fine. They'll find a way to manage.
Yeah. And with the competition that the Big East put together, obviously, Villanova, they were in the Final Four and lost to Kansas.
Yeah.
So, and while we're on the subject of Kansas, do you guys see Kansas City? I mean, I know Aaron's going to probably get hurt when you hear this answer, when you guys answer this question I'm about to ask. Do you think that the Kansas Jayhawks will repeat as champions this year?
Oh,
no.
Man.
No. I'll say that by accident because one is very difficult to go back to back, and they don't have enough core upperclassmen and seniors they have a great young crop that's there. Kansas, they're going to be a top 10, top 15 team all country all year in the standings, but they don't have enough upperclassmen core there that's there that's on that squad to lead with the pups in order to say, yeah, they're going to back to back. This is college, bro. This is one game situation. It don't work like that. So by accident, it's not even a hate. That's almost a reality that no, this core team is not going to win a back-to-back championship. They'll be good. They'll win the Big 12 and, Sweet 16, maybe even Elite 8, maybe even Final Four. But we acting like they blew the competition out to win the national championship in that national championship game last year. You have to remind yourself, listen, I'm happy they won for what they beat. But at the end of the day, remember, they went down going into that halftime game. And there was a lot of games they played in the tournament. The NCAA tournament, boy, I tell you, you go ahead and pick them for Vegas all you want. Now, I ain't nothing against Aaron. No, they're not winning the back-to-back games. We probably gonna be surprised to win the national championship this year. We could rewind this show.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, you guys, you and Aaron has a matchup against each other on November 15th at the State Farm Classic in Indianapolis. So get ready for that.
No, we don't duck. We play everybody in the schedule. We don't duck. We never duck. Extra Quap, Derek Whitehead, extra Quap. Who got coming in? Ask Jaquam about Kyle and them boys. He know what's going on down there.
Yeah, Duke
Kansas in the State Farm Classic. That's to be an interesting battle.
And Champions Classic is going to be big. Right. As far
as so I don't gotta talk about the Blue Devils.
Yeah, we can talk about them another episode. But anyways,
they're gonna be all right.
On to some NBA basketball. The New York Knicks are 3-1. How excited are you about it, Ryan?
God bless. I wish they can stop the season now. Can we get in the playoffs like this? Can they just end it after 4 games? Oh, Lord. Jesus. Listen, they're playing all right, bro. I can't even lie, they're playing all right. Yo, guys ranking on Brooklyn bad. They're like, we better than them. I ain't gonna go that far so right away. But you know what? I ain't gonna lie. We so far with the eye test, we do play a better brand of basketball than they do. It is what it is. Brunson is playing really good basketball. He could be a little bit better on the defensive end, but he's doing everything else at a high level. RJ Barrett's playing solid basketball. Randall can play in a regular position and be comfortable. He's doing his thing. Obi comes in his minutes, he plays well. Rose don't gotta play so much. He comes in his first and does his thing. Robinson's playing good basketball. They look okay. It's scary. They look all right. But knock on wood, it's the Knicks. It's the
Yeah.
Knicks.
But if Stephen A. Smith taught us anything, we can't take this 3-1 stuff for granted because look who we have to face: the Bucks, the Cavaliers. They got the Celtics and the Celtics matchups.
Good schedule.
So
Good
yeah,
schedule.
Jaquam,
Very
thoughts?
good schedule.
This hey, they're winning the games they're supposed to. I think that comeback against Memphis, if they had stayed down against Memphis, then I would have been concerned. But right now, these next stretch of games is going to really, really show what this Knicks team's about. But there are some growth from last year. But I'm not going to get my hopes too high on the New York Knicks. I mean, keep winning. I mean, they're still figuring things out. We have a legit point guard on the team. That's the big difference. And I think that his energy is already going to give this team, they're still getting things figured out. So if they beat the Bucks tonight, I won't be too surprised, honestly. I would not be surprised if they beat the Bucks.
Yeah, I wouldn't
because
either. But
no, they're gonna play hard. They're gonna play hard.
The Bucks are strong. The Bucks are strong.
Most likely it's not, but they're gonna play hard. Oh yeah.
They're gonna play hard. If they play hard or beat the Bucks, I'm not gonna be too surprised. The Bucks are strong. Don't give me that because I think I give them a better chance to beat the Bucks than the Nets did. The Nets have some questions. They got the talent.
I agree with that.
I think Mitch is coming with that energy. I mean, Giannis is just tough to stop. I mean, let's just keep it.
Yeah, let's just keep it as it is. He's
the buck right there. You got Drew Holiday.
He's the best player in the stratosphere.
There are a couple players on the Bucks that are injured. Pat Connaughton, who has been known to be a Nick killer in a way, according to some, is one player that's out. But you still got to deal with Giannis. You still got to deal with others. The Knicks need to play, great basketball with less mistakes going up against this team. I would not say if they beat the Bucks, give them the championship. Not really, but I like their chances. I like the 3-1 start for them. Now, if they was losing by 20 to Orlando, Detroit, and Charlotte, or then that would have been an issue. But they taking care of business and more depth. Like I said, like I was talking about St. John's before, a lot more depth on this team. I like their chances. I really see them in the postseason. Like I think they're definitely going to the playoffs. Now, I mean, they say playing, but let's wait and see. I'll have more to say about the Knicks and the Nets by All-Star break.
Yeah, I mean, it's only the first week of the season, so it's good to see the New York Knicks manage to get most of the victories to start off. And as far as Brooklyn, I'm not too worried about their 1-4 start. It's early in the season. They have to play against some tough competition: Zion Williamson, Giannis, this Luka Magic. I mean, seriously, they're gonna get it together. They got back-to-back against Indiana and then the Chicago Bulls. So,
right, they're gonna need some improved adjustments in the front court.
That's also true because inside defense is too vulnerable.
Right.
Ben Simmons is scoring wise, he's so. He needs to get more involved offensively. I mean, yeah, he's a good rebounder, assist player. I mean, but it's gonna take some time. I mean, obviously, he's gonna improve over time. So
he's a work in progress.
I'm not worried about Brooklyn.
Right, he's a work in progress.
Yeah. Now, let's see. This is a pretty interesting show. Oh yeah. On to another topic. High school basketball is gonna come back, and South Shore for the boys and girls side is gonna go on to try to defend the titles in the PSAL. So Jaquam, judging by what you see, if you follow high schools, like which are the best high school teams to watch this season coming up?
There's so many. There's so many, and a lot of these teams have new faces. PSAL making changes with their divisions. No more AA is now back to A and B. The realignment. Catholic League is going to be so strong. You know, Christ the King looks stacked. Stepanak stacked. You know, they got two of the top.
They still got boys.
Yeah.
They still got boys. Captain Jack there, Elijah there.
Right. Hayes. Oh man, Hayes. People wondered, how are they going to be? Losing guys like Tariq Foster, who's doing a post grad year before he heads to VCU, and Toby, who's at Tennessee. Now they got a big man coming in named Steven Solano, who's a 7-footer. Ian Jackson, pretty much top 5 in the class of 2024 nationally. Elijah Chopper, he's gonna. I think opponents for Cardinal Hayes is gonna have a lot more to worry about than just Ian Jackson and Elijah Moore. I should just say Ian Jackson because I feel like a guy like Elijah Moore is going to go crazy this year for them. Big scoring games. Of course, you got young players that's moving. You got players that's moving up from JV on the team. You got the freshman sensation, Jamel Mel Thomas. A lot of depth. They just added another guard who's coming home. Like we got guys who left New York City to go to prep school coming back home to finish their careers, and they got Adam Najai, who was previously at Hillcrest Prep. So them in the PSAL, watch out for Eagle Brooklyn and Jefferson. Get back here for both of those teams. South Shore, of course, I still think they can contend for a title, even though there's some new faces. But when you got Jared Dingle and Kyron Alexander in the backcourt, and you got like a young on the rise junior by the name of Kevin Kearney. Tough team. You got Jalen O'Brien, the big man up front for the South Shore Vikings. They got a veteran coach on their team. They got Coach Sean Adams from the Wrens, who's coaching along Sean Mark, aka Coach Smoke. Very tough team. We already know what South Shore girls gonna do. We already know. There's no question. That team's gonna be tough. Yeah, James Monroe and the PSAL. Shout out to them. They are a team to keep an eye on this year. With Coach Glasses Salgado has been building with that program over the past couple of years since B Diddy, rest in peace, was around, and Sage Baldwin to now. I purposely think they're coming back for revenge for that Bronx Borough title and possibly make a deeper run. They went to the Elite 8 last year before losing to South Shore, but they're much more mature team. Glasses is building something big. Don't be surprised. They're a team that almost beat Hayes up at the Respect All Fear None showcase. They almost beat Hayes, and that's like Ian Jackson's home gym. So a team that you had Hayes on the brink up in uptown, that's a big thing. But I think if they learn how to play more mistake-free basketball and stay eligible and stuff, they should be good in the Bronx. Of course, Stepanak out in White Plains, Lehigh. It's a whole lot. There's a lot of great teams out there. A lot of great teams.
Sadly, my Canarsie Chiefs. Well, now of course they're not the Canarsie Chiefs. They're called the Canarsie Storm. We're not really up there as one of the teams to watch. But
Canarsie?
Yeah.
Oh no, Canarsie. Canarsie.
They got kids. Yeah.
Canarsie
gonna be all right.
They're gonna be all right. They're Jordan Brand School now. They're gonna be all right.
Listen.
Okay.
Ain't no play schedule. Ain't no play for nobody no more. Everybody got play.
Everybody.
ESL, A and B.
Right.
We watch a lot of kids at IS8. There's a lot of kids at IS8 that's going to schools. I'm like, you going to that school? Transit Tech. You'd be surprised what these kids are going to schools at. You go play them on a schedule and be like, yeah, we're supposed to beat them and get your butt kicked.
Yup.
Because you don't. So it ain't none of that no more. No.
No cupcakes,
Everything
man.
on the schedule, you have to come to play that day, or you're going to lose.
Right.
Exactly. Listen, so to my, I mean, because I miss Canarsie when they were relevant. Just saying.
No, they're gonna be relevant. There's a guy on the team by the name of Jared Days.
Jared Gaze?
Jared Days.
Yes.
Jared Days.
Wow.
6'6", 6'7" wing. Cahoot. Shoot the ball.
Duncan.
Great player. And they got a point guard by the name of Jaden Brickhouse.
Jade Brickhouse. Wow.
Jaden Brickhouse, 5'10", tough point guard. I saw Canarsie play a few times. I saw them play over the summer at Fun Sport, and I saw them play at the preview, which was Jay David's event. They lost to Mount St. Michael, but you know, back in the days, there was a time where, like, if you were 6'6", you were playing inside, you were playing the 5 all day.
You're talking to a
But
guy
now-
today, Luster and Vincent Matos.
Right,
Seriously.
right. Now in
No easy wins
2022,
on Flatlands.
Never.
if you're 6'5", you a shooting guard. You're a wing. You're playing your natural position. So it's different now. You know, I feel like that's the great thing about New York City high school basketball now. Like, I mean, I've been around, like, I haven't been out everywhere every single day, but from what I've seen, I don't see a lot of teams with 6'3" centers no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these teams got big guys now.
Sometimes, yeah, but
Once
you're
in a
right, for
blue
the
moon,
most
you'll
part,
see a
guys
few teams
are
with like a
usually-
6'3", 6'4"
Yeah.
center.
But you're
But,
right.
like, the way they play basketball is different.
You're right.
It's not like back in the days where you had the
You're playing
6'3"
your
guy
position.
playing inside. Everybody's playing like some type of positionless basketball, and they still have someone that's able to do the dirty work. You know, it's more of a fast-paced game in a way, depending on who you see. And, like, yeah, it's very good. There was a lot of teams that I forgot to mention.
Don't
Safe
worry
Space
about it.
Prep.
I'm sure that if they stand
There's too
out,
many.
I'm sure if they stand
Oh,
out,
my
especially
goodness.
when they go against my Canarsie Storm, I hate that name. I'm probably going to get a good test of them and talk about it on this show because
Canarsie's called the Wolves
No
now.
easy wins on Flatlands.
yeah,
called the Wolves now.
I think that's a football team.
No, they call them the Wolfpack.
Oh, both for basketball and football.
Yeah, they in basketball. Yeah,
I like Chiefs better. Let's be honest, but whatever.
yeah, yeah. Canarsie's like one of the few schools that got a major rebrand this year. Canarsie, Jefferson. They still the Orange Wave, but they're now a Puma school. But they got like one of the top 10, top 15 backcourts.
Oh, yeah, because they was Under before, right?
It was Under Armour before, yeah.
They got the kid Sprat.
Spratly
You got Connor
and
Spratly.
Man,
And you got the
Little
yep,
Poppy.
Oh my goodness. A little
That's what they
man, no pop.
Little Poppy, that's what they call
Tyson Daniels or right? One of the but Lil Pop. They got a nice little court out there. Them killer dogs.
Right.
They got a nice little big fella down there, all right too. They're gonna be pretty competitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and but obviously, well, at least we know that South Shore is not going to get any Cupcakes championship this year. I mean, sorry about that, Jacob, but your son's gonna have a tough time winning another championship before the end of his high school days, based on what Jaquam and Ryan just said.
Eagle Brooklyn. Also, shout out to Eagle Brooklyn. Taj Bryant, Eric Acker, aka the Rundown guys. That backcourt. We can't mention high school basketball in New York City without mentioning Eagle Brooklyn and of course Eagle Bronx.
Yeah, we gotta go look at them tonight. You gotta go look at them in ISA and yeah, very nice tournaments.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that'll wrap up this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Thank you for stopping by, Jaquam, to give you insight on the Big East tournament, on the Big East after you went to Media Day. And I can't wait to see what college basketball coverage you have, as well as some high school coverage. You're going to be seeing that all season long. Thank you for stopping by, Ryan Walker. And to all the balls out there, get your head in the game.
All right, y'all. Peace. Yes, sir.